It being 6 o'clock, I call this meeting of the Chelmsford School Committee to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is being live streamed by Chelmsford Telemedia and posted to the Chelmsford Public Schools website for interested community members to access and watch. In-person public participation will be taking place tonight in accordance with the Chelmsford School Committee Public Participation Guidelines. Anyone speaking tonight during the public input portion of the meeting has notified the superintendent of their desire to speak and has been provided with these guidelines. Upon request, written comments received no later than 12 p.m. on the day of this meeting will also be read and made a part of the record of the meeting during the second public comment session. Do we have any members of the press here tonight? Nope. Okay. So welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. First, I would like to welcome Susan McKinnon, our newest member of the Chelmsford School Committee. Congratulations. Thank you. And welcome. Okay, our first order of business is to approve the minutes from March 21st, 2023. I'll accept a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from our meeting on March 21st, 2023.
Second.
Does anybody have any corrections? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. 3-0, present?
I wasn't here for the meeting, so.
So, okay, abstain?
Abstain.
Okay, one abstention. All right, next up, we have our Chelmsford High School representatives.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. So the junior class had their career breakfast last week and were given the opportunity to speak to people and professionals from a career of their choice from a variety of different fields. And that was a really amazing opportunity for all juniors.
Senior internship started and they had their first weekly check-in this Monday. And that's all we have. Vacation's coming up, so that's good. Thank you.
Well, it's just nice to have you here.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, does anybody have any good news that they would like to share?
I have a few good news items. So our grade 7 students were just debuted with some new biotech-related activities, and apparently we're going to find out some more details on April 25th. It seems like a very important day in the science department. A few music updates. There were 22 elementary and middle school singers that participated in the first rehearsal for MMEA, which is the Massachusetts Music Educator Association, and their all-state treble choir last weekend. We had 9 middle school and high school music ensembles performed at the MICA Festival. Can't remember what that acronym stands for. That was last weekend, and they won 5 silver and 3 bronze awards. And just a reminder, instrument test drive for grade 4 students will be held on Saturday, April 29th, and that will be at the Performing Arts Center.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? All right, so we're now at our first public input session. Do we have anybody registered to speak?
We do not.
All right, moving on to new business.
All right, our first order of business this evening is the reorg of the school committee, and welcome Susan to the school committee. Looking forward to working with you. We have to take elections, so we're going to nominate a chair of the school committee and then a vice chair and the secretary. And I traditionally just help out with the chair recognition. So at this point, we would open up the floor to anyone who would like to make a nomination for someone to serve as the chair for the 23-24 school year.
I nominate Donna.
Second.
Chair.
Sorry, second.
Okay, we have a nomination for Donna and a second. Any others? We'll close the nominations. All those in favor of Donna?
Aye.
Aye.
It's 4-0, and Donna, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I think.
You wanted it.
He said yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Gave you an out.
At this time, I will open the floor for nominations for the vice chair of the school committee.
I nominate Dennis for the vice chair of the school committee.
A second?
Thank you.
Are there any other nominations? Yeah. Close the nominations and take a vote. All those in favor of Dennis King for school committee vice chair?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0. Okay, and finally, I am opening nominations for the school committee secretary. Does anybody want to make a nomination?
I nominate Susan.
Second?
Second.
We couldn't be on that fast enough, huh?
You've been around for a while.
Any other nominations? Okay, I'll close the nominations. All those in favor?
Aye.
4-0. Thank you very
Great,
much.
congratulations, everyone. Moving on with the agenda, we're actually going to take one item out of order. The fourth item on the agenda this evening is a ratification of a memorandum of agreement which was reached with Chelmsford Federation of Teachers, the Building Custodian Bargaining Group. So you have that before you this evening. I'll walk through the highlights, and Town Manager Cohen is here. He's a voting member of our collective bargaining agreements, so you do have a copy in front of you. The first three items are just boilerplate language that would go into the MOA. Basically, this is for a 3-year contract that'll begin July 1, 23 and run through June 30th of 26. Compensation has been updated to reflect a 2.5% cost of living increase in year 1, 2.5% cost of living increase in year 2, and then a 2.5% cost of living increase in year 3. We did also add a new step 7 and a new step 8 in the first year of the contract. We have some additional language in the contract that just recognizes the approval, the use of a pre-approved sick leave toward the 40 hours required for overtime work, increasing the guaranteed minimum callback if you're called back to work to 3 hours instead of 2 hours. We're including Juneteenth, now recognizing that as a holiday in the holiday section of the contract. Another article, basically, just if individuals are called back to work on a holiday, instead of time and a half, they would get double time pay. There was one grammatical change in the contract. We previously referenced the word teacher in the evaluation section because we had utilized the language from the teacher contract in this contract. We're just changing the word teacher for bargaining unit member. And then lastly, we're just increasing the clothing allowance for this particular group from $500 a year to $750 a year. So those are the elements that were negotiated. We had a very good bargaining session overall with the unit. John Moses and Maria Santos with the bargaining group. We were able to kind of wrap it all up in one afternoon, which was nice. The group was very amenable to work with. So I have that before you this evening for a vote of approval. I highly recommend the committee's favorable action on this. So I don't know if John has anything to add as the negotiating team, but that's before you tonight.
Yeah, just quickly, that team is really great. I think the thing is we, as parents, we go into the buildings, we see the custodial staff and the crew working all the time. And somebody said it earlier, but they take real ownership of the buildings. And like at the Byam, you can see how much care and effort they put. And I was here before with the old contracts and what that looked like. And I mean, over the years, they've really maintained consistent. They've just done a great job. And then COVID and then norovirus outbreaks and all these other things they survived. And we thought this was a good contract to reward them for the work. And that's why I think it moved so fast. We just all were on the same page. So it was a good group. And I would like to thank Maria, who's not here today, but Maria did an excellent job too. And she doesn't get to speak, but I think she would be positive about it as well.
Is there anything anybody else wants to say? So John, definitely thank you, and to you and Maria for working on this particular contract. And I completely agree with you. I think the custodial staff is phenomenal.
Really great.
All right, I'll take a motion.
I make a motion to approve the contract with the Chelmsford Federation of Teachers Building Custodians Unit for the period from July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2026, in accordance with the terms and conditions as outlined.
Second.
All right, is there any further discussion? Okay, then I'll take a vote. Paul?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yep.
Susan? Present. John?
Aye.
Aye. 4, yes, 1 present. Right, thank you.
Thank you, Paul, very much for coming. Now going back to order of the regular agenda. Second item on the agenda this evening is Chelmsford High School. And I'd like to recognize Principal Steve Murray and Alex Cunningham from our College and Career Center here to talk a little bit about some of the activities that are taking place at Chelmsford High School. So welcome, Steve and Alex.
Hello, this is Alex, our Director of College and Career Readiness Center. First, I want to say thank you for having us here. I love coming here and I love talking about the high school. Congratulations again, nice to have you. So we're gonna talk about a couple things. One, we're gonna do about NEASC. Where are we, what are we doing with NEASC? To have an overview, but we'll start off with a video first. I think it is, we wanna do the video overview of CHS. Or maybe not.
Order, what's that there?
Yeah, no, we'll do this.
No problem, let me just go.
Oh, we'll do that, sorry, thank
I'm
you.
here for you.
I am so glad I chose Chelmsford High School. The amount of personal growth that I've had throughout high school, coming in as this very shy kid and then coming out as a producer, I'm a drum major. It's crazy how much I've been able to accomplish within Chelmsford High School.
I think Chelmsford High School is a very friendly environment. It's fairly easy to make friends. People are very open.
There's a lot of different clubs and activities and sports you can do just to get involved and make a ton of friends.
The culture at Chelmsford High School is very positive, welcoming.
All the teachers care about you. If you ever need help, they're always here for you, and all of them are friendly.
I think Chelmsford High School does a good job preparing me for later in life because, well, there's a lot of classes available that teaches you good life skills.
By going to this school, I feel like there's more electives here than I've heard about at other schools that aren't directly related to core classes, but instead have real-world applications.
One elective I'm taking currently is robotics. It can be challenging to build a robot from scratch.
We have to make the robots perform different tasks, so it helps with conceptual thinking and problem solving.
I take the elective early childhood. The early childhood program really assured me that I want to be a teacher. I get the opportunity to shadow a teacher at Harrington Elementary School. As I hope to be a teacher, I get that feel of being in the classroom.
I'm taking e-commerce marketing, woodworking, and health class, and my favorite class probably e-commerce marketing. I get to learn about how businesses work. We run our own clothing shop here, and it's pretty cool. We help Mr. Shoop out with new ideas, new products, make shirts. It's like the pep rally shirts.
A real shirt?
I've learned how to repair Chromebooks. We first off take apart Chromebooks.
I forgot about that.
Devices like Chrome boxes, Macs, old school laptop.
That's cool.
This year I am taking TV and media class. I'm able to hold interviews, I'm able to put sounds together, do videos like news broadcasting thing where you just get information and all the students would watch it.
Hello and welcome to the Fall Sports Wrap-Up.
Welcome to 719 News, our fall newscast.
But pineapple should have never been put on pizza.
The ASL class is an American Sign Language class. It's another new language class that came out 2 years ago.
This program has definitely made my high school experience better. The teachers are really fun. American Sign Language is going to help me hopefully get a job in the future because I know another language.
In the Career Center, I can help students one-on-one with specialized workshops, acing the interview, resume writing, social media etiquette, what career path is right for me, choosing a college right for me, so they feel best prepared when leaving high school in order to jump right into a college program that might be of interest to them or a career.
I am the drum major for Chelmsford High School Marching Band. I'm also a band officer, so I work as a leader within the band program. We perform the Legally Blonde the musical.
Talk it all up to experience.
Then there's also concert band. Home football games.
One of my favorite things to do is go to the sports games.
We have the Tundra, all the football games are fun, basketball, hockey.
Looks for Buckley in the corner for three. It's good! It's good! Three! Deep three! Oh my god, I can't hear a thing! Everyone's going nuts!
I feel like our school spirit overall, for sports, is top tier. We do a great job with the Tundra, we rally everyone together, just knowing that your whole school is behind your back.
The esports program actually be more of a sports team that will compete against other districts throughout the state and also throughout the country. And they'll play Super Smash Brothers and Mario Kart. There is a Madden League and there is an NBA 2K League as well, but that typically runs on PlayStation. We are looking at how we will expand this in the future, so we anticipate being ready for the spring season. Without a doubt, it will definitively launch for the 23-24 school year.
I'm very glad I chose Chelmsford High School.
I am glad that I chose Chelmsford High School.
I am so glad I chose Chelmsford High School.
1000% happy with my choice at Chelmsford High School.
I am glad I chose Chelmsford High School.
Definitely super glad I chose Chelmsford High.
I am glad I chose Chelmsford High School.
All 4 years have been probably the best time of my life.
It's been a fun 4 years. Kind of sad. It's my last year. Yeah, I wouldn't have wanted it any other way.
Some of my best friends, the best memories. It's been a great 4 years, and I'd definitely choose it again.
The inspiration for different aspects of life that I've gotten here, and just being involved in like cheerleading and a cappella and like the tons of different clubs that we have here.
Wherever I find myself next year, I think I kind of have this confidence to be able to find it again somewhere else.
No pressure, but the principal's right there. Are you good with that choice?
Yes.
Good.
So that's great. But when we did that video for a couple reasons. One is we really want people to know what goes on at Chelmsford High School. And you hear the kids at the end when they start talking of, I'm glad I chose Chelmsford High School. And the reason why we're saying that is because now, especially since COVID, people are now looking at private schools and they're looking for different options and vocational as well. And so we want to show our community what our kids are doing and what's going on behind those doors. So we're very happy about that. And we had a lot of kids, obviously, who participate. Now, what makes our school so good is the structures we put in place. Oh, is it too far away?
A little too far away.
So the structures we put in place, and the structure we put in place is the stuff from central office, our curriculum and our programs, and the work the teachers are doing. And so part of that is with NEASC. So every 10 years or so, we get a reaccreditation. They come in, they look at our program, and making sure that we're progressing in the right direction. So the first part of this presentation, we'll be going over NEASC, and it started back in 2021 as a planning stages, and I have two people who put this together who are phenomenal. It's Matt Bartos, one of our English teachers, and Dr. Linda Tonini, one of our science teachers. They're the co-chairs of our NEASC accreditation process, and they've just been top-notch the whole way through. And so in 2021, we met with NEASC Group, our liaison, to kind of give us a plan of what this looks like. It's a new process for NEASC. About 3 years ago, they kind of streamlined it. It used to be this massive, overwhelming process, because a lot of my teachers who've done it before they're kind of sweating it out. But now they see the process is more streamlined and more friendly to us and the staff. It's gone well. We did a school reflection first in 2022 in the spring and through the fall of last year. And basically, the school reflection is every department looking at their goals, looking at how they structure things, their assessments, et cetera. And then NEASC comes in and the collaborative conference was last spring. A group from NEASC comes in, from administrators and teachers from other districts, and they look at the plan we put together, look at the questions that we answer for them in terms of curriculum, in terms of social emotional learning, et cetera, and they give us some recommendations. And some of the recommendations brings us up to this year, a school growth and improvement plan. And so I'll explain that in the next few slides, what we're doing there. And then in the fall, we're gonna work on the data we've been collecting this spring, and I'll tell you what the data is in a second. And then in the spring of 2024, we'll have our product to give to NEASC, and they'll come in and they'll assess it, and then hopefully have a big celebration that gives us a plan for the next 10 years for Chelmsford High School. We can watch that again.
There we go.
So the first thing we want to do is, what is the vision of a graduate? And that's what we're going to be working on as a staff. And that is, what do we want our students to be able to do, and what do we want them to look like when they leave Chelmsford High School after 4 years? And as I said here, this is going to be our stamp. This is our fingerprint of what we want our kids to do. And so how do we get the information, and how do we determine what the vision of a graduate would be when they graduate? And so what we did there is we've now sent surveys out to most people in our community. We've done our teachers, we've done the students, we've done colleges, around colleges. We sent a survey to our area businesses to say, what do you want when a kid comes out of the high school and they're gonna work in your industry? What are the skills you say is needed? And so Connor Merrill, he's a math teacher, does the calculus. He's a whiz taking all this data, and he's taking the data now for these surveys, and he's compiling it for us. And so we're gonna take that data, and our next PD days and upcoming fall, we'll be focusing on what is the data telling us from all our different constituents. And then we're gonna create our vision of the graduate. And then the vision of the graduate we'll then take and make sure that's embedded within our curriculum and within our syllabi for each department. And so, and that's basically defining, identifying our vision. These are the steps that we're taking through that. We've had some focus groups, and as I said, the businesses were very happy when we sent them information. We didn't get a lot back as we wanted to from the businesses, but we did get many, and they were very appreciative, asking just the local businesses of what their needs are and how we can add to that and add to the experience of our students. And speaking of that, this is nice, this folds nicely into why Alex is here. Where we're talking about what kids need when they leave school. We also want to give an opportunity to kids to make informed decisions on what they want to do when they leave Chelmsford High School. If they're going to go to college, are they going into the right major? Because colleges aren't cheap. And to cheap changing majors like I did, you go a little extra and your parents are not very excited by that. So how can we give them experience so they can make those determinations? And if you're not going to college and you're going to the workforce, what would that look like? And what do you need to do? So it turns over to Alex. Now it's our senior internship experience that really Josh Blagg, Dean Blagg from Hawthorne House, brought this forward. And Alex and Josh, Dean Blagg, really put together a comprehensive internship program for our kids. And I'm excited about it because it really blew up this year.
Yeah, it did.
In a good way.
Thank you, Steve. So, first of all, this is my favorite part. This is only my second year at Chelmsford High School, and I think March 27th, don't quote me, was my 1.5 date. So I have not been here long, but this is my favorite part thus far. So the internship is super fun for me and all the students from what I hear back, and we have some feedback from them actually on later slides. But what it is a 6-week time period. So last quarter, students can go out. If you're a senior and you're in good academic standing, you can go out on an internship for those full 6 weeks, and you don't have to come to the building. So the point of it is for them to make connections, to network with professionals, and then as Steve mentioned, like to figure out what is a good path for them. I mean, similar to Steve, I have a master's degree in forensic psychology, and I didn't need that to be a career and college readiness facilitator at Chelmsford High School. So it's nice to, because of the expense that college, brings us, it's nice to have an idea of, what you like, but also just as important, what you don't like, which a lot of students do find out during this internship and career breakfast and junior job shadow day process.
And with that, I know in my last district, we had an internship program, and I got a laugh out of it. One of the girls went to work for her as an intern for her father, who was a CPA, and at the very end, she said, I can't do this. And he was hoping she would take over the business. He said, it's not for me. So that's good to know. Right. It's good to know for dad and mom.
Right. So this year for the seniors, we're offering 2 opportunities. One is the internship, and one is community service. So internship, we require students 30 hours a week for the last 6 weeks. And depending on their schedule with advanced placement courses or dual enrollment courses, they subtract 5 hours because they do have to honor those credits and be present for the class. So we subtract 5 hours to their requirement if they still have to come back to the school for classes. So they work under their supervision of an employee of the business that they're with. A lot of them connect with neighbors, parents, guardians, cousins, and are able to get an internship at their placement, which is great for networking for the students. Examples of some internships that we have students in last year and this year. K-8 schools here in Chelmsford, which brings me to what we call the HISSP grant. We actually have a good partnership with the Mass Higher Lowell Career Center, and HISSP stands for High School Student Education Internship Project. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. So what that is Mass Higher looked at the labor market blueprint and discovered that there aren't as many teachers filtering into the pipeline. And so they are actually paying our students, our high school students, to intern in our elementary and middle schools. So they get paid $15 an hour for up to 30 hours a week for their 6-week internship. And a lot of them can go on further into the summer if they want to. So it's pretty cool. We have some of our students in 2nd grade, kindergarten, music classrooms. PE classrooms, a lot of them in PE. They love that. So that's a great opportunity. And then we also just this year got offered a similar grant, which is a STEM grant. So any student interning in a STEM-related field is actually paid 15 hours for up to 100 hours as well. So I believe this year we have 4 students being paid for their efforts in that. Community service is similar, working for a nonprofit or volunteer organization for 30 hours a week for the last 6 weeks of their school year as well. We require that they spend at least 30 hours directly on site doing work, but a lot of them are offering remote opportunities in community service, but also internship, which is pretty cool and works really well with Chelmsford's waterfall schedule and coming back for APDE courses. Some examples of community service that we've seen students go into in the past 2 years are senior centers, Chelmsford town offices, Lowell Humane Society, Habitat for Humanity, museums, the Paul Center. Internship and community service requirements. So these are requirements once you are participating, just to hold students accountable for their time and make sure that everything is running smoothly. We do have them do weekly journals. Everyone's invited into a classroom. I forgot to mention, this year we actually doubled in size, so it's pretty awesome. We had 38 students last year. This year we have 78 students who are participating in the internship. So we have 78 students in that classroom. I'm an advisor. Principal Murray's an advisor. All 3 deans are also advisors. So we broke the 78 students up into 5 groups. And they're required to fill out a weekly journal. So every Sunday by 11:59 p.m., they have to go into the Google Classroom and jot down, it could be bullets, a small paragraph, pictures, just with an overview of how their week went. So they do that each week up until the end of their experience. Next thing is timesheet. So they have a timesheet on an Excel spreadsheet where they keep track of their hours, because like we mentioned, we calculated roughly 30 hours was enough experience to not come to school. We don't want them only working, 5 hours and then hanging out for the rest of the time. So we came up with 30 hours and then minus the 5 for APDE courses. So they keep track of their time on that spreadsheet, and I can look at it and connect with their advisor and just make sure, is this student doing the time that they're putting in? 10 times out of 10 they are, so that's great. And then 2 more requirements, the presentation and the exhibition. So the presentation is a small group presentation. I like to let the students know that this is not the end-all be-all of the internship experience. The internship is the main portion. So the presentation is fairly low-key. We just have to do an old-fashioned trifold or even a PowerPoint similar to this one, just wrapping up their whole 6-week experience, weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, or, their experience as a whole. A lot of students last year added pictures, which was super awesome to see them actually on site doing the work. I actually saw a picture from week 1 of a student holding a lamb. He's working on a farm. He was picking up a lamb and he was numbering all the lambs. It was pretty cool.
And then he went to sleep.
Yeah. But anyway. So yeah, they do the presentation and then the exhibition. The exhibition, the point of that is to show the whole junior class their experiences. So I'll have dates for you on when these are taking place. But the exhibition is for all seniors who are participating in the internship to show off their trifolds or their posters and kind of sell the experience to the junior class, because it is such a good experience and a great opportunity for them. So here are the dates. So these are the important dates for this year. It runs 6 weeks from April 3rd to May 19th. So we are in week 2 right now. Week 1 was awesome. Everyone had a great experience. I had heard no negative feedback. Monday, March 27th, we had a mandatory orientation for all those who are participating, where we told them all the requirements, the weekly journals, the weekly meetings, things like that, answered any questions. And then Tuesday, May 23rd will be the individual group presentations. So like I had mentioned before, there are 5 advisors. We have about 15 to 18 students in each group. I have 15, I think Principal Murray has 16 or 17. So each student who did an internship will present to their small groups. And the exhibition as a whole, it takes place in the gym with a bunch of tables, is a whole big event where the whole junior class can walk through. We invite any of you if you would like to come. That's taking place on May 25th at 927 Pride Block. Oh, a little out of order.
We're out of order.
That's all right. Just back to internship requirements. I think it was the second slide. But we obviously take into consideration discipline or attendance concerns. We always rope in all the teachers and just make sure, that they think this is a good idea. Get some feedback from them. And then also, if they are in an off-site experience, students are required a 70 year-to-date average in every class at the end of term 3 to participate. And then a lot of students working in schools, we advise that they get a query. That is one of the requirements.
And these are just some testimonials from kids from last year.
From last year, the first year.
They really enjoyed it. Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to say that this would not be possible without Alex and Dean Blagg. They worked so much putting together behind the scenes, and then structurally with Mr. Bartos, Dr. Tanini, and Mr. Merrill working on the NEAS part, because these things do go hand in hand. And so really appreciative of working with these five. It's great. And thank you for giving us I know we came to you a couple of years ago about doing this, and COVID came, and you stuck with us, and it's always tough to get something launched, but your support was so needed, and thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Go ahead, Jen.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, I've had the pleasure of working with Alex, not so much with Mr. Murray. But no, he's okay, he's good too.
It's a high bar here.
First of all, I wanna say that I love the idea of the internship program. I went to a vocational school in our senior year, we did co-op. So we actually went outside and we did the work that we were learning in school, whatever that happened to be. And it was a really measurably good experience to actually be out in the world and out of a classroom sometimes. And the other part is I've worked with Alex. A few years ago, a bunch of principals and I came with this crazy idea to do like a veterans event. And then we were like, that's a lot of work. And then Alex showed up and was like, I'll do it. And we were like, okay. So every year we get to speak to veterans, to kids thinking about joining the military, a bunch of veterans from the school. And Alex does all that. That's a fun event, actually, really.
It is a fun event.
I look forward to it next year. No pressure.
I'm taking.
Thank you. Dennis?
I was just gonna ask, how are they graded for the fourth quarter, or the, you know?
So that's a great question. So what we do is we take the average of the first 3 quarters.
Okay.
Like that, because and except for those students who are doing the TE class or AP, they get a grade for that because they keep coming back for those classes.
Okay.
They finish up those classes.
If I could ask a follow-up question to that. So essentially, then their schedule for the fourth quarter is only this internship. They don't carry a regular schedule that they're still required to do homework or other makeup assignments in, correct?
That's correct.
Right.
Okay. I did have just a couple quick questions. First of all, thank you. That was phenomenal. I really love this whole concept. I think it's just a wonderful opportunity for our kids, and thank you for all of your hard work.
Thank you.
On the vision of a graduate, you probably know that a lot of school districts around the country have adopted something called Portrait of a Graduate. Is ours going to be our own, or will that be something that we're subscribing to through Portrait of a Graduate?
Our own.
Our own, okay.
It's our own, what our kids want, the fingerprint we want based on our community members who we've got information from to be our own.
I love that, thank you. And then my other question was, with regards to the vision of a graduate, do we have any opportunities to teach graduating seniors about financial skills or adulting skills? Let me give you an example. They turn 18, and now as a parent, you can't talk to the doctor, right? Or they're filling out forms, you know. Do we help kids with that process, financial skills, or just look, hey, this is now your responsibility, find out this information?
I know for the financial piece, yes, our business classes have that. They talk about, they go right into credit cards and the finances, and they talk about the compounding interest and what that means, because when you go to college, you get that credit card with free money. So it doesn't work out well. So they go over that definitely in our business classes. As far as the adulting part, that's a great question. Not as yet. That's a great question.
And the other reason I ask is because we do have some kids that go on to college, so it's still, a little bit of a 4-year period where there's still a lot of structure and supervision. But kids entering right into the workforce, that's a whole other issue for them, right, around taxes and all of those kinds of things. So I was just curious if we provided any type of support for kids just leaving high school and going right into a career.
Good question. I know we do work with kids on resume building, how to interview, et cetera, because that's definitely needed, and the do's and don'ts when you're going for a position and a job, and what do you do when you're in the job.
Okay.
But those other skills, that's a good question. No, we should look at that.
All right, thank you very much. I was just wondering.
That's great.
Does anybody else have any other questions?
Are you still a Yankees fan?
I think we all are deep down inside.
That's all I got.
Fighting words.
I know, I just.
Well, thank you.
I'd like to remind people that our esteemed principal, who we all love, is a Yankees fan. I like to bring it up every few years, just to remind everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
That is not necessary to include in the minutes. Thank you very much. Yes. Oh, Susan,
I
I'm
just wanted
sorry.
to quickly say that I think it's fabulous. I have four kids. They all went to Chelmsford High School quite a while ago, and only 3 of them ended up pursuing the careers they thought they were going to pursue when they left high school. So if they had had a chance to dabble with a little, they probably would have gone a different direction in college and saved some time and money.
Absolutely.
And just their own frustration. So I think it's excellent.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you,
very
Steve.
much.
Thank you, Alex. Have a good night.
You too.
Good seeing you guys.
You good? Okay. All right, continuing on our agenda, item number 3 tonight, I had given you a draft copy of the Department of Education, the tiered focus monitoring report, a couple meetings back. So Desi did finalize that report, and nothing changed since the draft version, but just wanted to convey that to you again this evening. The one area that there was a like a partially meeting type rating, the special education department had worked on, and their kind of action plan was attached and accepted by DESE. So that's a step that they'll be taking this year. Everything else had been considered within special education and within the civil rights world to be implemented. So overall, it was it was a long process, but a very good review. And so just sharing that final one with you tonight.
Thank you.
Okay.
And thank you to Amy Reese, because I know she had to do a lot of work on this as
Yeah, Amy and the special ed has put a lot into it to get it done, so that was good.
Thank you.
Thank you. We already did number 4. We'll switch to number 5. This is a vote to approve a new contract for our Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Hirsch. We had discussed this in executive session, and then I provided a draft copy of the contract to the committee members to review prior to tonight. So have the final document back from the attorney in front of you. So would recommend approval of this.
All right, I'll take a motion, please.
I make a motion to approve the 3-year employment agreement covering the period from July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2026, with Dr. Linda Hirsch to continue to serve as Assistant Superintendent in accordance with the terms and conditions as outlined.
Second.
Are there any questions or discussion?
No, I guess not.
Hold on one second. You okay?
I'm going to try to stay in the meeting, but I may have to leave.
It's okay, that's all right.
It's okay.
Whatever you need, that's fine. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
If I can stop the cough now, I'll stay.
Okay,
Sorry.
all right. All right, if there's no further questions or discussion, we'll go to a vote. Dennis?
Aye.
Susan?
Present.
John? Aye. 3 ayes, 1 present.
Great. Thank you. Next item.
Sorry.
Oh,
And thank you for all of your hard work.
Thank you.
Yeah, I greatly appreciate it. I know you put in a lot of long hours and do a lot on behalf of the district that goes unrecognized, so thank you for all of that.
Especially the great pictures on the s'mores.
yes, she takes care of me on the s'mores. Yeah,
Leprechaun outfits and, yeah.
I know.
No, all joking aside, we talked about all the contracts and the people. I mean, you've done a great job. So everybody here is super happy with you, and we all wanted to make sure you had a good contract, so.
Good. Moving on. Item number 6 tonight is an approval of some additional non-affiliated employee rate increases. I'm going to ask Joanna to just kind of run through this. This pertains primarily to the community education, the summer folks that work for us. And the backstory is that typically once we approve contracts with all of our collective bargaining agreements, sometimes we find that the people who were not affiliated don't progress at the same level that the other contracts had just approved. So we go in and try to make some remedies, but if you could possibly walk us through this, Joanna, that'd be helpful.
Thank you. So before you is a list of job categories that the community ed program has, primarily for their summer programs and then the extended day programs. So that's before and after school. And we hadn't updated these rates in several years. So the first column of numbers is the current rate that position is paid, and again, it's all hourly and it's all part-time. And then the column to the far right is the proposed rate based on the research Robin Adams, the director of the program, had done looking at communities surrounding our area so that we can stay competitive and hire good people and keep the programs robust and reach all the families who would like to attend the programs. Because without the staff, you can't have as big of a program.
And all these are covered from their own revolving, community ed revolving fund?
Yes, yep. There's two. There's one for the childcare, which is the children, and then we have one for adult education. So that's more if you're not school age, the older kids, and then the just community cooking classes, stuff like that.
All right, I'll take a motion, please.
Make a motion to approve an increase to the hourly rate of pay or stipend as specified to the positions effective June 26, 2023, at this meeting of the school committee on April 11th, 2023.
Is there any other questions or further discussion? Okay. Dennis?
Aye.
Susan?
Present.
Aye. 3 ayes, 1 present.
Thank you.
Item number 7 this evening is just more of kind of like a public awareness. Our second session of kindergarten registration is coming up right at the end of April. We held registration in January for our first round. We got a great response. We always have a second opportunity for parents to come in and register, and the date is April 27th. Obviously, if you're a parent in the system, you receive our communications, so you receive the emails. But we do this at a school committee meeting also, just in case you're a new family to town and you're watching, so you can kind of get a sense that we do have this coming, so it doesn't surprise you in September and your child isn't registered for kindergarten. So we ask also if you happen to know people in the neighborhood or in groups with your kids, if they have young ones who would be kindergarten age, to share the news. The more kids we can actually get enrolled at this point of the year just makes it easier for us when we're putting classes together and whatnot for the fall. So just again, a little public service announcement that we do have the spring kindergarten registration coming up on April 27th. It's by appointment. Up on our website is all the forms to be able to access to schedule your appointments.
It's right here.
We hold it here, in this room. People would make an appointment and then come in and meet with the clerk or the secretary from the school and do the whole registration. Okay, all right. I didn't miss anything, did I?
Good job.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, number 8. Dr. Hirsch has helped us put together the much talked about and anticipated last day of school memo for the year. So as it stands right now, assuming we have no more weather-related school cancellations, the last day for students will be Thursday, June 15th. That's a half day. For students, it's a full day for our staff. And then the last day for all of our staff this year will be Friday, June 16th, and that's a half day for staff. But a lot of families would like to know this time of the year what we're looking like, but it's an early out this year, which is good, right in the middle of June. So Thursday, June 15th, barring any other weather-related incidents, we'll be out of school. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 9 is just the personnel report for the month of March. Again, this just details, it's not a heavy hiring month for us. Few new hires to the district, a couple of resignations, and we didn't have any retirements or assignment changes. So those are the new employees that we welcomed into the district in March.
Now, we already posting for next year?
Yeah, we're actually already deep in the hiring.
Okay.
So we have multiple kind of phases or rounds that we go through, and this most recent round was what we call the district-wide round. So those jobs are advertised to any current district staff and externally at the same time. So those have closed, and the schools have already conducted their interviews of the internal staff. If an internal staff member was selected, then great, that position is filled, and then their position is posted to be backfilled on another round. We had a lot of positions where we didn't have internal interest, so they immediately moved to external hiring. So we're already hiring our staff for the fall. We're in pretty good shape at this point. Yeah. Okay. And last item on the agenda for me this evening is just approval of 3 out-of-state field trips. The first one is we had several students from the high school DECA program qualify for the national conference, which is down in Orlando on April 21st to 26th. We then had the McCarthy Middle School. We had previously approved a field trip for them back in January, and the date of the field trip has changed. They're going to the same place, but the date has changed. So we're just asking for that to be reapproved. And then lastly, Parker Middle School has selected the date for their 8th grade field trip, the school-wide trip. So that's going to be June 9th. So I would recommend approval of these 3 field trips because they are, 2 of them are out of state and one is obviously out of state and overnight.
Do you want one big one?
I want to take them separately.
3 little ones, okay. All right, so the first one, I make a motion to approve the Chelmsford High School DECA field trip to Orlando, Florida for the DECA International Development Conference from April 21st, 26th, 2023.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
4-0.
Make a motion to approve the McCarthy Middle School 6th grade student field trip to Kingston, New Hampshire for the PBIS team building experience on June 6th and June 9th.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor? 4-0.
I make a motion to approve the Parker Middle School 8th grade field trip to Canterbury Lake Park in Salem, New Hampshire on June 9th, 2023.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
4-0. Thank you.
And that concludes my piece of the agenda. Thank you very much.
All right, does anybody have any liaison reports?
Wednesday, I'll be attending FIAM and Parker. They both have the same day, so I'll get those and then have an update the next week.
Great, thank you. Dennis?
Yep, I went to Center School PTO meeting. They finalized the Taste of Chelmsford, raised close to $3,000. That's a big fundraiser. They had their 4th grade ZD supper last week. Their recycling day is scheduled for May 13th, along with McCarthy. This time they have no competition. Last time, I guess there was another competing recycling thing going on at the same time, so. Their book fair is on the week of May 19th to the 25th, and their arts and culture night is May 24th. I also went to the CHIPS PTO meeting. They had a sock drive. They collected 464 pair of socks. Their big project is to create a sensory area near the playground for the students. They're just waiting on the final approval of designs and colors. I suppose we have some color experts that are supposed to help them all with that. They still have a lot of enrichment activity still going on between now and the end of the year. Their Spirit Week is scheduled for the week of May 1st to May 5th, and they'll also be having their final teacher appreciation luncheon during that week.
So, Jeff sent me his final liaison report. Yes? So,
Good to the end.
yeah, absolutely. So Chelmsford High School PTO met on April 3rd. They asked parents to watch for information about the after prom and final staff appreciation events on the Chelmsford High School Parent Facebook group and Stevens Lions Roar newsletter. And then Dr. Hirsch and Dr. Lang and I had an opportunity to attend the South Row International Festival, Multicultural Festival. Multicultural Festival. And it was really quite something. So I do want to say there was one young fellow there who was quite an excellent speaker. He's after Jay's job, I'm sure of it. He was in first grade.
I'm a little nervous.
He was in first grade, and his presentation was outstanding on the country of Colombia. So they did a really nice job with that event. You all received, I believe, an invitation to the staff appreciation luncheon from South Row. So please, let them know if you can make that. And I think that's it for liaison reports. Anybody else? All right. Does anybody have any new items that they would like to add to the upcoming agenda?
Just update on school choice. How are we doing on?
It closes Friday.
Yeah, so
So I can let you know after it closes on Friday.
yeah, that's all I was curious about.
Yeah.
So I'll be sending out an email within the next week about new liaison assignments. So, look forward to that. Let me know what it is that you would like to do. If you want to keep the ones that you have, or any other recommendations that you may have for liaison assignments that are not currently listed on our sheet. The Day on the Hill is May 4th, from 9 to 11:30 is at the UMass Club of Boston.
Oh, that's a beautiful place.
And then 12 to 2 is lunch in the hall of, the Great Hall. and meeting with legislators. So if we're interested in doing that, we need to let them know, okay? Sooner than later. And their legislative, MASC's legislative priorities for this year are full funding for the Student Opportunity Act, Children's Services Safety Net, school nutrition, full funding for the circuit breaker, reforming the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education, rethinking the state accountability system, earmarking special funding for small and rural districts, retention of Medicaid reimbursement for covered services, charter school oversight and reform, and full funding for Metco. So, a very robust list.
Nailed it.
Okay. Another thing that, so if people can just email if they're interested, or just let me know at the end of the meeting, that would be great, and then I'll work with Dr. Lang to see about getting us registered for that. If you look in the March MASC newsletter, they have a listing for the Massachusetts Legislative Committee chairs and members, so you can see which one of our reps or what committees they're serving on. And then, Dennis, I don't know if you saw this, maybe you did and I just missed it, but in the March newsletter, they had a huge, and then the system crashed, I think.
The policy
So some of
stuff?
the updates weren't made, right? And did we go through that, or now do we have to circle back and look at that again?
I don't know if they.
What happened?
They just had a whole new list of policy updates. I
Yeah.
don't know if we've already covered them, we were ahead of the curve or not. I just haven't sat down to cross-check the list, but
Did it come out a particular day?
it came out
in
on.
March.
Yeah, I'll bring it in. I have, it's a
Yeah.
hard copy. It's not.
It's an updated policy reference, it's their updated policy reference, they did an
Okay.
audit.
It was like the week after we did our policy
Yes.
update.
I
we
was
had a big
like,
list of policy
no
updates.
way. Yeah.
So I'm hoping we were ahead of the curve and we got most of
It could have been, but we can take a look at that.
Yeah, it was pretty extent, it was actually more eliminated.
Yes,
And there
yeah, yeah,
were,
yeah.
and then just some small changes.
Do you think they were just cleaning up from COVID?
I think so.
I think they
so.
were.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing we did. They probably sat down and go, oh, geez, we're
Yeah.
ready to do that.
No, we can definitely look at that.
All right, and I think that's it. Do we have anybody for our second public comment session? Any emails to be read into the minutes?
We don't.
Then with that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
4-0. Thank you, everybody.